And we've been waiting for this day for a long time. What an exciting game opening night in the NBA. Let's check out the starting lineups. First for Boston, Lowry out there with Alec Burks. And the big fella inside out of Ohio State, Greg Oden. Then there's Beasley, and it's Griffin in at the 4 spot. And for Toronto, Conley out there with Jimmy Butler. And inside at center, a long 6'11", the skyscraping big man out of Texas A&M, DeAndre Jordan. Then it's Paul George, and it's Fareed in at the power forward.
Well, no team likes to have their first-round pick belong to another team. It gets worse when you're a lottery team yourself and you're trying to build your talent base up. But the Raptors' number 12 pick in this summer's draft went to one of the elite teams in Oklahoma City.
Now, here is George.
I got yours! I got yours!
Into Jordan. Boom, he jams it straight. Right down.
Great job to hit his teammate on that move, Kevin.
Burks with it. Well, Clark, as you said, the Thunder got the Raptors' first selection this last year. Only the way the Raptors would have been able to hang on to it was, Steve, if they jumped up to the top 3 in the lottery.
And as bad as it might seem for the Raptors to have not had a first, I mean, and it is bad, it was as good as any other time for them to not have a first-round pick because the draft wasn't deep. And the Raptors have a lot of young talent already and that they can make improvement with.
Fareed the pass to Conley. Fires the 3. That's good. Conley's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
I like the offensive awareness to exploit that lack of coverage on that play.
Lowry dishes to Griffin. Back to Lowry. Pass to Beasley. A baseline J. Good. And here is Conley. Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
Kevin, here's what the Celtics head coach had to say when we spoke just a few minutes ago. I asked him what players he was really eyeing on the scouting report, and he said one that might surprise you, Kenneth Fareed. He said he plays with so much energy and effort. He really sets the bar for the rest of the team. If we can limit his impact on the game, I think it'll really be to our advantage. Guys, an interesting take. We'll see if they can slow his roll.
Thanks, Doris. The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. One free throw coming his way. That'll put Paul George on the line. They get Greg Oden.
Well, he's an exciting young player. Almost 6'10", great athleticism, length, dynamic finisher at the rim, and he can guard multiple positions defensively.
And you know what, Steve? His growth defensively has been just as impressive. He uses that length to great advantage, contesting shots and coming away with deflections and steals. You know, the big knock on Blake Griffin through the beginning of his career is that he struggled with his free throws. He worked at it, and last season had the highest free throw percentage of his career. Well done by Blake. He's got to continue to improve there.
Here's Lowry after the made shot from Butler. Here's Oden from down in the low post. It goes. Oden's got his first points of the night. And it's Conley penetrating, and that one's good. And for Blake Griffin, of course, draws fouls in bunches. In fact, last season around 67% from the free throw line.
A major improvement. He was closer to 50% the year before that. So, you know, he'd like to even get better than 67, but that's serviceable. That's to the point where you're going to make people pay if they foul you. So I like what Griffin has done as far as the improvement is concerned. And the defense got away with a major lapse there.
Conley into the lane. Fareed gets the bucket. Fareed's got his first points of the game.
Well, they had a pretty good grasp of the game plan coming into this one. That's been very apparent.
And anytime a team gets a double-digit lead in the first quarter, Steve, you could be headed for blowout city.
Now, here's Burks. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him. Here's Beasley. Gets it to go from 18 feet away. We've got 1:28 left to play in the first quarter.
You know, the Celtics ruled the Atlantic starting with their title run in '08, but last year it finally came to an end, that ruling of the Atlantic. 5 straight years. Of winning their division is now behind them.
Now Lowry, after the missed 3 from Jordan. Shot by Oden is no good.
He's far too tentative in the paint, and even more so when the defender is up tight on him like that time.
Conley gets the bucket. And back to the Celtics in the Atlantic. You knew it was going to be hard for them to keep winning the division with all the talent, Steve, that has come into it within the last couple of years.
Well, it was a great 5-year run for Boston in terms of winning the Atlantic, but you know, with the up-and-coming teams in New York and Brooklyn, all of a sudden Boston is looking ahead, looking above them to the other teams in the division, and now it's time to make another push, another rebuilding job, and get back on top.
The Raptors making a switch here. Brewers checked in. Griffin, Fareed defending. Griffin attacking. Stolen by Fareed. And now here's George, the fast break opportunity. Butler feeds to Fareed, the 11-footer, and another basket for Toronto.
That makes it 10 of their last 12 points coming from inside the painted area.
Yep, that's something that the defense has to put a stop to. Maybe a defensive adjustment is necessary here.
Now here is Lowry. The feed to Burks. Just 5 on the clock. Boston needs to get off a shot. And there's the shot clock violation. Couldn't get the shot off in time. 9 seconds left to play here in the first. And George kicks to Brewer. And another basket for Toronto.
Huge advantage for them already.
And as well as they've played at both ends so far, this lead might continue to grow.
Domination in the first quarter. It's been pretty lopsided.
It's a Halloween.
And welcome back. It's been all one-sided so far through the first quarter as our second quarter gets underway. And guys, what do you think about the offensive approach we've seen so far for Toronto?
Guys, they're really passing the ball well here in the first half.
They've established their presence in the paint tonight. Also, a lot of their scoring to this point coming from down low.
And a chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Well, gentlemen, a big season for Jarrett Jack last year, a contender for the 6th Man of the Year award. He said, quote, even if you don't start, you're able to have an imprint on the game. He talked about his versatility, playing either the 1 or the 2, saying, I didn't know I was a combo guard until I came into this league. I just play hard. People know my MO. As long as I'm on the court, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Kevin?
A steady vet. Thank you, Doris.
And it's nice to see Raptors coach Dwayne Casey getting another chance at being a head coach. A lot of people felt he got a bum rap back in Minnesota in 2007. He had that team overachieving at 500 when he was let go. So I'm glad he's gotten a second chance and he's making the most of it.
Conley kicks to Brewer. It's Allen on the wing. And again, Toronto with the triple.
Intelligent passing there to make that hoop possible.
Celtics trail by 16. And you go back to that Timberwolves team at 500. Casey was let go. And then, Steve, they went 12-30 after he was gone.
Yeah, they struggled with his departure. And a lot of the players actually were sad to see him go. So, you know, that's sometimes the case in the NBA. You know, coaches get blamed for everything, fairly or not. And in Casey's case, I respect the fact that he, got back to work. Did a great job in Dallas as an assistant and is now the head man in Toronto trying to get this team turned around.
Lowry kicks to Griffin. Defended by George. Griffin passes to Lowry. Buries the long-range jumper. Lowry's got 5 points so far.
The offense really coming around here in the second.
Up above 50% shooting now for the game, guys, and they'll definitely take that. It's defense where they need to key in.
Well, you know, last season I think officially brought the immediate championship aspirations of the Celtics to a close. The 7th seed in the East, dispatched in the first round by the Knicks. The rebuild was on in full cycle.
Outside Jack. Passes to Griffin. 14 feet away. The shot will not go.
You have to get a hand into his face because that's his range right there.
Allen with it. Now Jack defending. Kicks to Jordan. And that one falls coming off Conley's feed. And that's now 6 points for Jordan. And back to the Celtics, making the playoffs, sure, but, you know, not like Steve back in 08 or 2010.
Well, this has been a phenomenal era, with KG and Pierce that is now a thing of the past. But look, they've hoisted a championship banner, very close to another. But it's just time to move on, and that's just the way it is in the NBA. These things go in waves, and the Celtics now in rebuilding mode.
Raptors leading by 20. And George kicks to Conley on the wing. Brewer, three-pointer, and yes, sir, that one drops. Brewer's got his second bucket of the night.
Great outside shooting fueling this run.
And the defense getting bombarded. They just haven't been able to slow them down.
Beasley for three. Boston, no good that time either.
You know, DeAndre Jordan last year led the league in field goal percentage at 64%, but that was a percentage that was better than his free throw percentage. You want to get that flipped, and hopefully Jordan will be able to do that.
Well, it looks like he's finally found his footing in this game. His first quarter was a real struggle, but he's got it going now.
And Griffin backs in. Lowry. Left side, Jack. Looking to end the run. Good. And for DeAndre Jordan, it's strange. His shooting motion at the line looks good, but Steve, last year just 38% from the stripe.
Well, it's got to be mental, Kevin, because you watch the way he shoots. You know, it's not a beautiful stroke, but it's not broken by any means. I think it's all about finding a way to be comfortable at the free throw line. Some players never reach that point.
Now Griffin inside. They get a hand on it. Fast break Toronto. Allen leading the charge with the lead pass. And there's the basket. Whistle blows and a chance for a three-point play. Going to the line for one.
He's one of the best in the league at that. Even with just a tiny sliver, he always seems to find a way to get it up and in.
Catching up on the changes for Toronto. Gerald Wallace. He's checked in for Paul George. And it's P.J. Tucker in for Corey Brewer. Rush dishes to Lowry. Clock at 6. Beasley outside. Off target from three-point range. Toronto's gone 6 of 7 from long range tonight. They've been on fire from way outside.
Boy, they are just destroying them in the paint.
You could say that again, Steve. The defenders just aren't aggressive enough down low.
Lowry passes to Rush. He kicks it to Griffin. Blocked. Allen for the three. And it would have counted had it fallen, but it's offline. So as we conclude the first half, so far, fairly one-sided.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
It's opening day in the NBA, and all is right in the 2K sports world. Miami up on top against the 76ers in Philadelphia. Second.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters. What a game so far we're seeing from Paul George.
Well, he created a lot of opportunities for himself in the first couple of quarters. And tell you what, he was smart with his shot making, too. Really took good ones.
You know, points per shot attempted is really one of the undervalued stats in the game, and it's a real measurement of efficient scoring.
Good. George has got the opening bucket to start the second half for the Raptors.
He's got so much junk in his trunk, he'll find a way to hurt you. The Raptors have been in the rebuilding process for a while now, and even though they still didn't crack the postseason, they were able to do something they haven't done in several years: win more than they lose here in Toronto.
And here are the Raptors now. Here's Butler. And it goes as the official calls the foul. Count it. He'll shoot one more at the free throw line.
That's kind of his strong suit, the ability to find his way through the defense and finish at the rim.
First trip to the free throw line for him tonight. And it might seem like such a small accomplishment, but going back to what you said, Clark, about the Raptors, but they are a young team, and it takes small steps like that to climb up the standings. Steve, you know this, year to year.
Yeah, no question. I mean, unless you have a once-in-a-lifetime or at least once-in-a-generation type player in the draft, you have to do it with smaller steps, and that's what the Raptors are trying to do.
Conley gets the bucket.
Their interior defense has been dismal.
Yeah, and unfortunately, their offense in the paint hasn't been a whole lot better.
The Celtics have gone 2 of 3 from the field to start the second half. Lowry against Conley. Beasley kicks to Griffin. Goes up low. The shot is off. Great D that time from Kenneth Faried.
You know, you get the kind of love Blake Griffin has gotten for dunking on everybody in the league. It doesn't go over well with your opponents. I noticed last season teams started to get a lot more physical with him because of that.
Conley against Lowry. Back to Beasley. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2. And with hard fouls becoming a topic of discussion last season for LeBron James and certainly for Blake Griffin, Steve, what's your take? Does Griffin change his style of play? Does the league step in to protect players like him? How do you view that?
Well, the league already does protect everybody. I mean, you can't commit a hard foul these days without it being called flagrant. So, I mean, I think Griffin is fine. He just needs to continue to improve. And what he can do more than anything is develop a low post game that would translate into the playoffs.
Well, you know, Mike Conley has always been one of the quickest guards in the league, in my opinion, and just a blur in transition. And for his size, a pretty good finisher with both hands inside.
And it's Lowry penetrating. Burks. Beasley for 3. Second shot opportunity. And Griffin with the layup. Griffin's got his 3rd bucket of the night.
If you battle for the offensive rebound and come up with it, you're guaranteed a high-quality shot on a follow just like he got there. Excellent communication between teammates on the alley-oop there.
And that's what you need to pull that off.
Well, both ends of that play, just fantastic.
And Conley has always been quick, Steve, but he's learning how to use, it seems like, different gears to get around defenders.
I agree, Kev. The change of pace, he's gotten so good with his right hand, too, not just off the dribble, but he frequently finishes plays with his right hand in the paint, those little runners. So a lot of skill and to go along with that speed.
Chase Budinger, he's checked in for Michael Beasley.
Another pass put right into the shooter's pocket, right in the shooting pocket for a terrific assist. They've done a lot of that today.
Yeah, it's something we haven't seen much of at the other end of the floor, though.
Lowry kicks to Burks. Pass to Oden. From 11 feet away. And it's Toronto with the rebound. Here, match up against Boston. It's how they'll tip off the new season.
Well, last year's season series between them was a battle of 2 of the NBA's mid-level teams, and they didn't get the better of it. They've had the hotter hand in the first half so far, no question.
Yeah, it's because of all the high percentage shots they've been working for and getting.
Lowry against Conley. Oh, he's going up for the alley-oop here.
Soft touch on both ends of that pretty alley-oop.
You know, I got to say, Clark, when he threw the pass, I didn't know where it was going to go.
We saw it ended up right where it was supposed to, in the basket.
It sure did.
I don't think anybody knew where it was going to go.
Raptors moving the ball around. Stolen by Budinger. And 1:01 left to play here in the third. Griffin with it. Conley picks him up. And there's the call on DeAndre Jordan. That'll be his second foul of the game.
Well, he tried to step in and cut him off, but just not quick enough.
And we have the benefit of replay, but I think they got that one right, which is the case most times, even though fans don't think so.
Buttinger dishes to Garrett. And there's 2 points. Working on the glass, paying off that time. Garrett's got his first bucket of the night. Toronto calls timeout. These guys were a tough opponent for them last year, Clark, like Steve was just saying.
Yeah, when you're so evenly matched with the team, Kevin, it doesn't make you feel that good to have dropped most of your games against them because you feel like you should at least win some of the games you play against this team.
A new group in now for the Raptors. Gerald Wallace, he's checked in for Kenneth Faried. Brewer comes in for Ronnie Brewer. Paul George, he's checked in for Jimmy Butler. And it's Conley in for Ish Smith. Wallace kicks to George. Out to Wallace. Puts up a three. And that one falls coming off Conley's feed. Wallace has got 5 points so far.
And that's another assist for a team that is putting on a clinic on how to share the ball.
I just love the mentality they've had. If a shot isn't there, they're not forcing anything. They're moving it side to side and working to get a good shot. And in the paint, they have really shown some strength. Their work on the boards has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I'd certainly call it a mismatch, Steve, at least for today.
No good from Garrett. Conley kicks to George. And again, it's Toronto converting.
He's been key for this team's offense the way he's distributed the ball.
Yeah, you know, the offense is just moving through him, Steve. No.
Bring your costume. It's Halloween.
Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Not exactly a nail-biter here, but you never know. And a moment to look at the scoring approach in terms of where the points are coming from for the Raptors.
Guys, the passing we've seen from them has been tremendous. Very unselfish.
And they continue to knock down the long-range three-point shot as well.
Even with the D lurking, he made it look easy with the soft finger roll.
Here's Garrett, covered by Smith. Fry passes to Garrett. He feeds it to Buttinger. Rush from outside. Rebound by Singleton.
There's some good defense for you. I mean, for somebody who's as good at shooting the three as he is, you need a defender who's equally adept at guarding against it. That was well done.
Well, then they picked the right guy to put on him.
And the Raptors call time here.
He did not look too happy about some of the things he saw on the court. So I would expect some changes here.
I think it's the right move, quite honestly. I mean, they just didn't look sharp or at their best out there. So take the time out and give yourself a chance to regroup.
A new group in now for the Raptors. DeAndre Jordan's checked in for Chris Singleton. Paul George comes in for P.J. Tucker. Corey Brewer's checked in for Ronnie Brewer. And it's Conley in for Ish Smith. George dishes to Brewer. And again, Toronto with the triple.
This is incredible. It's been a three-point barrage since halftime.
Yeah, whether by design or by accident, it has been impressive.
Here's Garrett. Buttinger leads him in there. And Jordan with the block. Fast break, Toronto. There's Conley. And the Raptors tack on two more.
Well, it's been all about pace and space with them. Tempo, the fast break points, just a huge advantage.
Yeah, they've been looking to push it all the time and to get that early offense, and they're doing it well.
Here's Rush. Battles through traffic and lays it in. For Toronto, they've gone 3 of 4 in field goal attempts since getting things started here in the fourth. Brewer. And the bucket counts, and he's on his way to the free throw line. Try to make it a three-point play.
Well, every once in a while, he'll show us some pretty good moves around the hoop.
You know, a big part of why the Celtics dropped so much last season was they weren't very good on the road. Ended with a 14-27 record away from home, which was by far the lowest of any team in the East that made the playoffs.
And there's the call on DeAndre Jordan. That's his third foul of the game. Just about 1.5 minutes gone by here in the fourth. There's a whistle. It's going to go on Corey Brewer. That is his first foul of the game. And as you said, Clark, rarely can you win just over a third of your road games like the Celtics did and expect to make the playoffs. And had they played closer to 500 on the road, you know, Steve, there's a good chance they could have ended up as the 5th or the 4th seed.
Well, and in the Celtics case, it wasn't their defense, Kevin. It was their offense that betrayed them when they went out onto the road. They just couldn't win close games. Some of it was just age and injury. But so many of those road losses from last year just came back to haunt them, and that's why they ended up with that 7 seed.
Here's Conley. The pass to Wallace. Toronto working the ball around now. And George, here we go. And that one's good.
I love the flow that they've been playing with offensively tonight. This is an impressive performance.
Well, and that lead they have just continues to grow and grow.
Clark, some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, they need a basket just to regain some momentum here, Kevin.
A super defensive play. I mean, if that pass gets through, it's probably 2 points.
And he knew that. He knew if it gets through, it's a score, so that's why he sold out for it and got a hand on it.
Catching up on the changes for Toronto. Chris Singleton, he's checked in for DeAndre Jordan. P.J. Tucker comes in for George. Lonnie Brewer's checked in for Corey Brewer. And it's Ish Smith in for Mike Conley. Budinger with it, now guarded by Tucker. And Budinger kicks to Garrett. Rebound by the Raptors. And it's the Raptors' ball. It's a 12-2 run here, good pace. Got that bucket in no time at all.
You know, usually teams go on runs and it comes from a lot of layups and dunks. But that's not the case here.
Nope, not at all. They're putting this run together with a lot of mid-range jump shots, so we're seeing a pretty good display of marksmanship right now.
Fry. He passes to Budinger. No good on the 3. Here's Tucker. Again, Toronto.
And that puts a cherry on top, so to speak, of what's been a phenomenal showing for them.
All over but the whining now, Steve.
Hawes the pass to Rush. Now the dish to Fry. Feeds it to Garrett. Pass to Budinger. Kicks it to Fry. This one for 3. Rebound by Smith.
That's excellent defense right there on the perimeter.
Dishes it to Singleton. Back to Smith. From downtown. And again, Toronto with the triple.
They're playing with a purpose, guys. The big lead becoming bigger. I like the look in their eyes.
And it's on both ends that they've been controlling the action.
Here's Rush, covered by Brewer. Rush dishes to Fry. And he slams it one-handed. Absolutely, Clark. No one in his airspace on that dunk.
Yeah, but come on, Kevin. The defense can't let that happen.
I hope they let it happen more. It's fun to watch that guy fly.
Just a gift, 2 points they gave up. That's awful.
And Garrett kicks to Budinger. Rejected by Brewer. Shoots a 3. That one goes. Count it.
Well, they're going to walk out of here with a win and send this crowd home happy.
A very solid performance in a lot of areas for them.
Here's Garrett, covered by Smith. It's taken away by Smith. Lets the 3 fly. And again, Toronto with the triple.
Well, this is going to seal the deal. They've really exploded here to the finish line.
You know, once they sniffed out that blood in the water, the killer instinct came right out.
Here's Rush, covered by Brewer. Here's Garrett, and fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2. That free throw good from Garrett. Both free throws good from Garrett. Toronto's gotten in the groove from three-point range. They are 4 for 4 since the third quarter ended. And the basket by Singleton. Here's Garrett, covered by Smith. Pause, backing down. Fades. Off the left rim and out. And so Toronto takes this one, but by a big margin. Some days, Clark, everything goes right for a team, and they just had one of those games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, these guys played a great all-around basketball game here.
And that'll do it for this inaugural game of the NBA season. For Doris Burke, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg, This is Kevin Harlan saying we'll see you next time. But as we go,